Hey guys, Ike here from IkesOutdoors.com. Here today to do a review on the 2015 Bowtech Prodigy. A lot of cool features on this bow, and the power shift technology is something completely new. So this video is going to be pretty long because I'm going to cover all three settings on this bow. What I'm going to do is I speed tested it with all three settings. I'm going to talk about all three settings as I shoot it. So this is going to be quite the video as far as length goes. And I put up on Facebook whether people wanted to see multiple videos on it or just one, and everybody said just one. So that's what we're going to go with. First thing that we're going to talk about here is the specs on this thing. This bow is got a 7-inch brace sight on it. Really like that. Got a nice forgiving brace sight on here. Axle to axle is 32 inches, but like I said, it's got a long riser, short limbs, preloaded limbs, so the axle to axle, even being 32 inches, which is relatively short, this bow is still really stable at full draw. It has a very minimal amount of pin float. The IBO on this bow is 343 feet per second. Now that's with on the performance setting. And what I found with it on the performance setting, I tested it out at 29 inches, 70 pounds, 352 grain arrow with 20 grains of weight on the string. And I was getting 322 feet per second. By my math, it should be getting around 325, so a couple feet per second short, but 322, very respectable and very close to that. I fully believe that this bow will hit the 343 feet per second mark that they're claiming on the IBO rating. Now, this thing is available in a couple different draw weights. Now, we got max weight of 50, 60, and 70 pounds. Draw length is a module-based system, and it goes from 25 to 30 and a half. So really like the draw weight or draw length range on this. 4.2 pounds, so nice lightweight. Some people think 4 pounds is heavy, but I think they're crazy, because 4.2 pounds, this is a nice lightweight bow, and absolutely no problems with the weight. This is available in a couple different options as far as color goes. We've got black, which I've got here. It's also available in Mossy Oak Breakup Country. It's available in the Realtree Extra Green, and it's available in Cryptic, and the Cryptic is Highlander. Cryptic Highlander, and the Cryptic Highlander looks really cool in this bow. So really cool features as far as the colors on this bow. The Cryptic Highlander is my favorite, but black looks good too. The features on this bow, it has the overdrive binary cam system on here, and this has the power shift technology. Now, the power shift technology is something new from Bowtech. What you have is you have a disc in here, the power disc, power shift disc, I believe. The power disc, yeah. And you have three different settings. You have a 1, a 2, and a 3. And that is your performance, your classic, and your comfort setting. And all three settings are going to make this bow feel completely different and going to make it perform different as well. Changing this setting on here was really easy. All I had to do was pop these two bolts up here loose, pop the bolt down here loose, rotate it around to where it needed to be, and I didn't have to press it, or I didn't have to do anything for it. As far as setting it up to those different settings on my draw length. There may come a time when you'd have to, but I doubt you'd have to press it to do any of the changes on it. I've changed it to 29 and I've changed it to 27 and a half, and never had to press the bow. So that's nice. You can change it yourself without having to have a bow press or anything like that. Still have some of the older technology as far as the still got the flex guard on here. Still got the Octane strings on here, which are perform good. Some of the best strings on the market, are standard strings, you know, bow strings. Got the string damper on here with the carbon tube. Got the, I think these are called the revolvers, vibration dampers on the back of the riser. One thing that they did a little bit differently on this one, as far as the feel of the grip, is different versus the 360 from last year. I didn't mind the 360 grip. It was a little bit bulky. They've slimmed this up here at the top. They've made it a little bit smaller up the top, and the grip on this bow is actually considerably better. So I really like the grip on this bow. So like I said, we've got three different settings on this. The performance setting is for speed and power. The classic setting is kind of an even mix of the two. You get speed, you get power, and you also get some smoothness. The comfort setting is going to be smooth, give you an effortless draw, and it's going to be a little bit slower. So I love the power shift technology. We're going to get out here and we're going to shoot it on each one of these, but it fits perfect into the kind of hunting that I do, and the kind of hunting that I think a lot of people are going to do, because coming up here in about a month or so, at 1st of March, I've got a hog hunt scheduled. And you know, these boars down there, I've killed, this place we're going, I've killed some boars down there that are 250 pounds. So pretty good sized boars, at least for our area. Pretty good sized boars down there. And for that, I want something that's fast and going to hit hard. And you know, I'm not going to be wearing much clothing. I'm going to be on the ground. So drawing it back is going to be isn't going to be an issue. I can set this bow in a performance setting. I can set it at 70 pounds, and I can get the kind of hard-hitting power that I want for hogs. So, and then when I get done on my hog hunt, I can actually transfer this thing over and move it to the classic setting or the performance setting, or the comfort setting, I mean, and shoot some 3D with it. Which for shooting 3D, I'll probably shoot it in the comfort setting, just to, you know, go out target shooting and stuff like that, and make it nice and easy where I can repetitively draw it 30-40 times in a day. And then when it comes time for deer season around here, I'm primarily a tree stand hunter, and I want to be able to draw this bow back, and I want to be able to hold it for long periods of time. I want to be able to hold it when I've got bulky clothing on, but I still want some speed and I still want some performance out of it to cover as much as I can and to hit as hard as I can. So for that, I'm going to switch it back to the classic setting. So this bow really covers all that you want to cover. If you other guys out there, if you're a Western bow hunter and you want speed and performance, you put it on the performance setting. And if you want to then swap it over to something that's a little more comfortable to shoot, you swap it to the comfort setting or the classic setting. So the technology on this bow is, the power disc is awesome. I mean, just absolutely awesome. You really have 3 distinct feels for this one bow. So now, and you've seen me in the past, you've seen last year, I used my carbon overdrive. I used a Bowtech carbon overdrive on our hog hunt. I wanted something, I set that bow at 72 pounds and I set it with a big heavyweight arrow. And then when it came time for deer season to roll around, I used my RPM 360, set her down to 64, 65 pounds, and it was a little bit easier to hold, a little smoother on the draw cycle. So I had 2 bows that I hunted with and had each one set up distinctly different for each hunt. And with this one, I don't have to do that. All I got to do is rotate the module around, or the power disc around to the setting that I want it, and I've got a completely different bow on my hands. So let's stop talking now and get to doing some shooting. We're going to show you the chronograph results here on all 3 settings, and we'll show you some close-ups of this bow, and then I'm going to go out here and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to talk about each individual draw cycle. I'm going to shoot it about 6 times on each setting and talk about each feel for this bow. This is the Bowtech Prodigy, 70 pounds, 29-inch draw length, 352 grain arrow with 20 grains of weight on the string. And this is set on the comfort setting, the number 3 setting. This is the Prodigy with the same setup on the number 2 setting. Okay, same setup. Now on the number 1, or the power setting, getting 313 and 314 on the other setting, just in case you couldn't see it because of the glare. Close the door, so that should take care of the glare. I'm sorry, this is, I believe, called the performance setting, not the power setting. Okay, so this first group of shots is going to be on the first setting, the performance setting. This bow is set at my draw length, which is 27.5, and it's set right at 70 pounds. Before we get into actual shooting and talk about the actual settings, the things I normally talk about the bow, you know, are going to be a little different on each aspect of it. We're going to talk about those, but the main thing I want to talk about before we get is the grip. They really improved the grip on this. I really like the new grip. The other one was kind of blocky and square. This one's kind of been rounded a little bit and actually feels a lot better than the one on my 360 did. So the grip on it is really nice. With it set on this power setting, the draw cycle is a little bit stiff. No real big hump to it, no real big let off at the end. But it's still really quiet, still really vibration free on this performance setting. That was one of the things I worried about, was as you got up to the performance side of it, how was the vibration and noise going to be. But this bow is still extremely quiet on this setting. The draw cycle, like I said, it's stiff. It's stiff, but it doesn't have a huge hump into it. It's got a nice small buildup. You start feeling it within the first couple inches, and it just builds up nice and slow and drops down nice and slow. It doesn't have that big drop off or anything like that. When you get it back at full draw, it holds pretty good. But on this performance setting, it does want to ride the edge a little bit, and that's one of the reasons, that's one of the ways you're going to get speed. So, once you get it back at full draw, creeping with this bow on a performance setting, you can see there, it wants to ride the edge a little bit. It doesn't take much, and it wants to go. Bow, on this performance setting, I was getting really close to what their IBO rating was going to be. 343. I was getting, with my setup, I was getting a couple feet per second slower than that, but not much. Still very manageable. It's still 70 pounds. I can still draw it pretty well. What I like about it is you can get that kind of performance out of it, but you still have the 7-inch brace sight, which gives you the forgiveness of it. I can switch to this performance setting, and I can still wad arrows with this bow. In the performance setting, like I said, it's a little stiff, but it's not bad at all. You just gotta kind of pull into that back wall, and you can't really relax with it like you can with this bow on the other two settings. But overall, it's not too bad at all. Fire one more arrow here out of this thing with the performance setting, and then we'll switch it to the classic setting. Like I said, good draw cycle, good firm draw cycle, but no big hump to it. You can see there I kind of relaxed a little bit. Overall, the bow in the performance setting, you get what you expect you're going to get. You get a little bit harsh, or a little bit more of a stiff draw cycle, and you get a little bit more of it wanting to ride the edge. But overall, the bow still at 70 pounds still feels really good for that setting. Now we're going to go ahead and switch this thing over. I keep wanting to say swap this thing over. We're going to go ahead and swap this thing over to the second setting, which is the classic setting. Okay, so now I've changed it over to the number 2 setting, which is the classic setting, and this is the setting that I think that I'm going to use for whitetail because it gives you a little bit of speed and a little bit of the smoothness. It gives you I say a lot of both of them, but it gives you the combination of both speed and smoothness on the draw cycle. So I think this is going to be my setting for whitetail. And the setting on this, the change on this is not, I wouldn't say drastic, but it's definitely noticeable. A little bit smoother draw cycle. When it gets all over to the end, it has a little bit better, a little bit more of a drop. And as far as relaxing with this one, see there, I'm relaxing. It's not wanting to take off. Does not ride the edge like it did on the performance setting. Right there, it's wanting to go a little bit, but nowhere near like it was on the performance setting. Still getting good forgiveness with this bow. Still quiet. Still got a pretty good amount of speed to it on this setting, and still, you know, the draw cycle on this one, it's not quite as stiff. It's a nice slow incline, and then when it hits that peak, it does drop off just a little bit more sharply at the back side of it, and give you a little bit more of a valley. So it's got a little bit different feel to it, and a little bit different performance to it. Still got the same quiet, same forgiveness. And like I said, I think this is going to be my setting for whitetail, because I get a good draw cycle that I can manage. You can tell, you can't see, I've got on a vest and I've got on a coat. It's about 30 degrees out here, and the wind has been really nasty today, so it's fairly cold today. And this is the type of setting that I want for when I have to have clothes on, because I can pull it back pretty well. At 70 pounds, I can still pull it back really easily, and I get a little bit more performance out of it than I would at the comfort setting. I still get a little bit more speed, a little bit more kinetic energy, a little flatter shooting on this setting, and I can still hold it. I can hold it for a long time, so it gives me that advantage. Good draw cycle. I like the draw cycle on it. Pin float is very, very minimal. 7-inch brace on this thing really does offer you forgiveness. You know, I've shot the RPM 360 in the last couple years. Shot the Experience, shot the Insanity, shot I think I've shot all these center pivot bows. And I really like this one because it gives you that 7-inch brace sight and gives you forgiveness. I'm probably putting up better groups with this bow than I have with any of the other center pivot bows I've shot in the last couple years, because it has that forgiveness, and the long riser and the short limbs gives you a really good stable shooting platform. The thing I noticed too about this, and one of the questions I had, was when I go to change the setting, I have to retune the bow, I have to, as far as the rest, and I have not had to retime the rest when I changed this power disc setting. I did. My sights are a little bit off because I'm shooting a little bit slower. I'm shooting at 20 yards here. I've went from hitting the bullseye to drop down a little bit below it. So as far as changing this bow up, I'm gonna have to change my sights up a little bit, but that's gonna be about it from setting to setting. I've not had to change my rest, or my draw length still feels the same. It doesn't feel like my draw link's changed or anything like that. The only thing that's really changed has been the draw cycle of the bow and the back wall, as far as holding on the creep. And the back wall, which we haven't talked about, it's got cable stops on it. The back wall is absolutely solid, absolutely rock solid. Okay, to change this from your settings, you'll see you've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. To change this, all you have to do is have an Allen wrench, and you can see I've got it in my lap here. I don't have the bow pressed at all. You're going to take this bolt out completely. You're going to take this bolt right here, going to loosen it up. The bolt on this side, you're going to loosen it up until you get to the point where you can move this thing. And you can see there now I have it lined up on my third slot with the hole that's tapped. I can just drop that right back down in there. Tighten that up. Tighten this up. Tighten that up. And that's it. That's all there is to changing the power shift. Okay, so now I've got it on the number 3 setting, which is the comfort setting. Now this is a whole different animal than the performance setting. This draw cycle is absolutely butter smooth, and when you get back, you can just hold it all day long. When you get it back there, I mean, I don't feel like I'm holding anything as far as creeping with it. I mean, I can really relax with it before it wants to take off. Just this one here is just really nice, really comfortable to pull and shoot. Now, what you're going to run into with this is you're going to lose a little bit of speed from the performance setting and the classic setting. it wasn't a whole lot. Now you can see from the chronograph results that this bow is still plenty fast when it's on the comfort setting. So it's not as fast as it is on the performance setting, but it's still plenty fast and just absolutely smooth as can be. And when you get it back, I mean, you're just holding nothing. I mean, it just feels like if you want to let up on this bow with this setting, it feels like you almost got to push it down. I mean, it just absolutely is comfortable to hold and still shoots really nice. Like I said, I have not had to retime my rest or do anything of that nature. They just rip the felt off a little bit. You can see my rest still popped right back up like it should. Still going down like it should. Bow's still quiet, still vibration free. I mean, just no kick to it, no noise to it at the shot. Butter smooth draw cycle. And for shooting 3D, I mean, this is going to be the way to go for me, I would think, because you've got the smooth draw cycle and the ability to hold it back for long periods of time. And if you're going to shoot 20, 30, 40 shots a day, you're going to want it to be as comfortable as possible. Still got a really solid back wall. You can see I'm pulling into it, absolutely solid. Draw length hasn't changed a bit. I have no problem with the draw length feeling longer or shorter or anything like that. And overall, this is just really, like the name suggests, comfortable to shoot. Punch a trigger on that one. Notice I'm using something different. I punch a trigger on that one. Overall, this Bowtech Prodigy with the power disc, the power shift technology, is an outstanding bow. I mean, you really do get 3 completely different feels out of this one bow. And like I said, for me, being a guy who hog hunts and being a guy who tree stand hunts for whitetail, I can set it to the #1 setting for hogs, and I can get the power and speed out of it that I want. I can set it to the #2 setting, and I can get a little bit more comfort out of it to draw out in a tree stand and to hold it for long periods of time for whitetail. And for the #3 setting, I can use it for whitetail as well. I can use the #1 setting for whitetail as well too, but for the #3 setting, I can use it for whitetail, and I can also use it for 3D. I can use it for anything that I want, a nice comfortable draw cycle and a nice comfortable hold when I'm at full draw. Each setting has a distinct feel to it. You're going to feel the difference. It's not like when you change that power disc, you're going to notice a little bit of a difference. It has a distinct feel to it. I mean, each one from #1 to #2, from 2 to 3, has a different feel to it and a different performance to it. So I like the power shift technology, the power disc. When it first came out, I didn't really know what to think of it. I had a lot of questions about it, and all my questions have been answered. It's easy to move. It does provide a distinct feel, 3 different distinct feels to this one bow. The 7-inch gray sight's still forgiving and it's still quiet. Didn't require a lot of different tuning for each different one. Didn't require a additional timing of my rest or anything like that for each one. Didn't change my draw length, so the power disc technology is really nice. And overall, there's a lot of stuff I like about this bow. The grip is really nice. I really like the improved grip. The looks, you can see the machining on this bow. I really like the looks of the new riser. The limb system here, the pocket system, does a really good job of absorbing vibration and making this bow quiet. And just overall, the Prodigy just really is a really nice bow, and it definitely has 3 distinct feelings to it and 3 distinct performance levels to it. So check this out. They have this available on a lot of the different bows. The Prodigy, the Boss, the Eva Shockey bow for you women out there who are looking for a serious bow. The Eva Shockey bow is definitely a serious woman's bow. The Carbon Icon, I believe they have it on there as well, and maybe one other bow, but I know for sure those 4: the Boss, the Prodigy, the Eva Shockey, and the Carbon Icon. So if you're looking for a bow like me, if you're looking for a bow that has you can go out and you can do a bunch of different things with it, as far as hog hunt and deer hunt and 3D shoot, and get 3 distinct different feels out of it. You know, this Prodigy or any of these Bowtechs with the power shift technology on them is going to be the way to go. Definitely look into them. For more information on these and the other bows, you can check them out at the link below. And for more product reviews and how-to videos, you can check us out at ikesoutdoors.com. Appreciate you guys watching.